Let's go, Ravens fans. Ronnie Stanley is back. First of all, sorry for the terrible quality. I'm in Las Vegas right now, and I did not think that we were going to get news on the weekend like this, but we did. And I didn't think that we were going to sign Ronnie, honestly. I did when EDC was talking how confident he was. I definitely thought we were signing Ronnie, but as it got closer and closer to free agency, you know, we're 2 days away from being able to verbally talk to guys. I was like, oh man, like that price has went up. And we talked about it all offseason, how expensive 20 plus million is for a guy over 31. But we paid up, man. 3 years, 60 million, 20 million per season, 44 million guaranteed at signing. So we definitely paid up. This is probably what needed to get done in order to not have Ronnie hit free agency and go to another team like the Chiefs or the Patriots that were rumored to be after him. If he would have hit free agency, he was definitely gone. So welcome back, Ronnie Stanley. I'm not mad about it. I think it's a lot of money. It's risky, but we're building the trenches, and now the rebuild or, you know, continuing to stack the trenches gets a lot easier this offseason because we have our tackles locked up. Roger Rosengarten, right tackle, who could also play left tackle, but he's clearly staying at right tackle right now and for the next few years unless there's an injury. We got Ronnie locked up for the next 3 years at left tackle, and obviously Tyler Linderbaum at center. So the line is pretty intact. We'll see what happens with the guards, but I think, you know, it's a lot easier to now go draft and attack those positions, and you don't have to use an early draft pick. I'm still not against getting a stud guard if he falls in the first round, or if we see somebody that could be, you know, a 5-year starter for us at guard, then, you know, pounce on that guy in the first round. But it really allows the Ravens to continue their philosophy of best player available. You know, we do have some positions of need, pass rusher, you know, another secondary player, corner, outside corner specifically, safety, wide receiver depth. We do have some needs, but the O-line in the trenches on both sides of the ball was priority number one. We've been talking about that. And bringing back Ronnie makes that a lot easier. You know, we don't have to have drastic changes on the offensive line. I was worried that it was just going to cost too much. I was never against bringing Ronnie back. I said this so many times. I love Ronnie Stanley. I was just looking at it from a risk standpoint. I was like, whoo, 20 million a year, and it still is risky. My opinion doesn't even change on that. It's risky. I'm excited about this deal. I'm also slightly nervous because of the history, but I'm not gonna, you know, sit here and talk about if he gets injured or anything like that. I feel like that's bad juju to throw in the air, man. And we're just gonna celebrate this. The Ravens offensive line is better for bringing Ronnie Stanley back. And we had to clear some cap behind the scenes, or they just haven't done it yet. But, I mean, the new league year starts on March 12th, and the Ravens are around 10 to 12 million in cap room right now. That's not counting our draft picks. We have to clear cap, or we already did clear cap. This is something that I haven't talked about too much. I brought it up in the last video, but Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent. You know, Eric DeCosta likes to keep things quiet. They could have done a Lamar restructure between them two and not told anyone about it. Eventually it will leak and become public information, but it would not surprise me if they already kind of cleared some cap room behind the scenes and we just haven't heard about it. Same with Roquan Smith, a guy who's on another massive deal, a guy who doesn't have an agent. So I bet you the Ravens did clear some kind of cap room behind the scenes. If they haven't yet, they're definitely going to. We still got a potential Marlon Humphrey extension. We don't know what's going to happen with Mark Andrews. So I think there are still moves ahead, but I'm also not expecting exciting free agency. You know, I don't think the Ravens are going to go out and be big spenders. This Ronnie Stanley deal was our big spending deal. You know, last year we got Matabike locked up. We did end up signing Derrick Henry, but he didn't cost much, you know, 8 million. You know, 10 million this year, but like it's not like a huge deal. So we could obviously go sign a mediocre average contract, but we're not going to go out and make a huge splash in free agency most likely unless we're aggressively clearing cap. So I really think this Ronnie Stanley deal was the Ravens' big move in free agency, and it is a huge move. You know, keeping Ronnie on this team is exciting. I think that this offensive line maintains its strength. The young guys are going to continue to get better. We'll see who ends up starting at guard. Right now, the leaders are definitely Voorhees at left guard and Falele at right guard, but we haven't drafted anyone. We'll see what happens in free agency with McCary. I would say McCary's almost guaranteed to be gone now that we're bringing Ronnie back. So we'll see how that plays out. I think we'll add to that guard room for sure. I think we'll probably draft a developmental tackle as well. There's definitely still some moves to be made on the offensive line, some competition that we got to bring in. But regardless, I think bringing Ronnie back makes this offseason a lot easier and gives us a lot more freedom. You know, this draft, we got 11 draft picks coming up in April. We are truly going to go best player available. And that's an advantageous position to be in. You want to be able to go best player available and not have to reach for a position of need. Not that the Ravens usually do that anyway, but this ensures that we don't have to reach for a position of need. We don't have to draft an offensive lineman in the first round. I'm still not against it. Whatever we got to do to make the best offensive line in the entire NFL, I think we should do. Protecting Lamar is so important. Creating running lanes for Derrick Henry is so important. We need to make sure that this offensive line is stacked as possible, and bringing Ronnie back makes that transition so much easier. You know, I'm excited about this. And I'll make a better, more detailed video about this and have some free agent videos on Monday when I get back home. But I did just want to hop on here since this news just broke, pull out the iPhone and talk to you guys about what just happened, bringing Ronnie back. 3 years, $60 million. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this deal. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are we able to keep making moves, or do you think this offseason's about to be pretty dry after this outside of adding some depth? Let me know what you guys are thinking. As always, I appreciate you more than you know, man, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The Flock Rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.